is Ronnette and I'm here to offer biblical strategies for effective teaching. I have a special guest, my friend Laura Monty, who is my co-worker for the past 5 years, or this is the 5th year. How are you today, Laura?
I'm okay.
You all right? You see that glow behind me? That means this is it. That's that angelical glow. Yes. So I'm ready.
You notice I don't have any glow.
You're gonna have it before we get finished. Watch. At least by next week. So I have Laura here because Laura is retiring soon. Maybe this year, or if she can make it through to half of the next year. So how do you feel about that?
Still up in the air.
It's up in the air. Well, what's the issue? What do you think?
Well, it's a lot to do with family issues, aside from family and financial, I would say.
Oh, okay. See, yeah, when you have, this is what it is. When you retire, you have family in different places. That's something that you have to consider. Yeah, my daughter wanted to move to Georgia. I wanted to move to Georgia when my grandson was small, and then we all could have went, but now my daughter has 2 more kids, and then she wants to go, and I'm not sure if I'm ready to go. Financially, I can't do it yet. But yeah, that family issues, that family dynamics is a big, something to consider. So,
but my husband's putting pressure on me to retire as well. So
you don't think you want to wait till the next school year? My plan was to help you with making it through the school atmosphere. And then, so that's the whole different thing that you have to consider. So let me give you something before we even go past that. So I have 2 scriptures, and then, Bible scriptures. I know you say you're not religious or that religious. I'm not sure what wording you use, but you grew up and going to Catholic school, right? Did you go to Catholic church also?
We had no choice. Every Friday during school time, we had to go.
Oh, yeah.
Every Friday.
Oh, so you had to listen to some scriptures. Yeah.
And then we had to go on the weekends as well. We had to go on Sunday as well. And they kept track of it too.
Oh, really? Oh, all right. Well, you got some things to remember. So I have two scriptures, and then we're gonna get into it because we don't want to run out of time. So I have Habakkuk 2, chapter 2, verse 2 and 3, and it says, "The Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain on the tablets that he may run who reads it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it will speak and it will not lie. Though it tarries, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry." So that's saying, you need a vision. And if you have a vision, you write it down. And then once you write that vision down, then you able to take that vision and run with it. So whatever you envision for your life, because you put it in writing, now you can work on it. That's what that means. So I have that one, and then Luke 14, 28 through 32. I don't know if I'm going that far, but for which of you intended to build a tower does not sit down first and count the cost, whether he has enough to finish it, lest after he has laid the foundation and is not able to finish, all who see it begin to mock him, saying, "This man began to build and was not able to finish." And then it goes on to say the same thing about a king. So if you have a plan, if you want to do something, you have to sit down and make a plan. And then you can see if you are able to complete that plan. Like you said, there's different things you have to look into. So just say you say, "I'm going to retire today and I didn't make a plan." People will look at you and say, "She didn't even know she needed this amount of money. She needed to be this place or whatever." But you have to have a plan, so that's what that's talking about. So did you start making a plan for, I know you started financially.
It keeps changing. Once I think I'm set on this June, I'll the next day I'll say, well, no, I think I'll do January. And then the next day after that is back to June, and then it's back to January. So it goes back and forth. So I was talking to my husband just a little while ago, and he's telling me, oh, we're going to do this in the fall, and we're going to do that in the fall. And I'm looking like, uh, I'm not sure that I want to be, retired in the fall. So I don't know.
Yeah, see, okay. So what you have to do is make a decision. You have to period make a decision. And then once you make a decision, everything's gonna fall in line. But if you're not sure, so that's why you have to make a plan. Say, if I do this, this is what will happen. If I do that, this is what will happen. And then you have to decide which plan you're gonna go with. And then you're able to run with that plan. And then once you make a decision, you stick with it, because then it's gonna fall in line. I never made a decision and it didn't fall in line. If once you decide, not that I may do this or I may do that. So think about a time that you made a decision and it worked out, right?
A lot of times I made decisions and it didn't work out.
No. I mean, a decision, not saying I'm going to do this, but I didn't really have a plan. Okay, like you decided you want to be a teacher, right? You decided that. You didn't say, maybe I'll be a teacher, so let me go to school for a little while, see what happens. You didn't do that.
No.
You made a plan. I'm going to be a teacher. This is what I have to do. Now look at you. Now you're ready to retire, right? You decided. Just say you liked a guy. Just say you liked a guy, and you say, I think I like him. I don't know. I'm gonna try it out. But you didn't have a plan set, a decision make. I really like this guy. I'm gonna work it out. Right? Then it'll work. But if you like, I think I like, next thing you know, he's looking at somebody else because you didn't decide that you like him. So that's what I mean, that type of decision. Not you got a choice between this and then you got a choice to do that. But actually you made a decision. You make a decision, then you have a plan, right? After you make a decision, then you sit out and write a plan. This is what's gonna happen, this is what I'm gonna do. And that works. So I gave you your example, but you think of another example. I don't know.
It's hard because the decision, every time I think it's final, I change my mind. So.
Because you didn't decide. Because
In my head I did.
What? Because you didn't write it down. You didn't say it out loud. You didn't speak it to anyone. You said, this is what I got from you. I want to retire in June. That's my plan. He said, but if I retire in January, so you didn't make a decision. You have choices. You get the difference is having choices and making a decision. Decision is this what I'm going to do. Then watch it fall in line. But I have a choice if I retire in June or in January. Let's see what happens. Then this person wants me to do that, so maybe I won't. That's a difference. Then I'm deciding I'm retiring in June, and this is what's gonna happen. Now I gotta make a plan. Okay, now I'm gonna retire in June, so then I have to get this ready. I have to get that ready. See the difference?
Yeah.
So there is a difference. So then you sit there. I gave you a plan. My plan was it was all different. See, you keep changing your mind. You keep having all these choices. So I gave you a plan.
It's very hard because it's final. I don't like any kind of decision that's final, that I can't go back and change.
That's what a decision
I put in that paperwork April 1st, that's it. There's no going back.
But that's a decision. But you have to weigh your options and see what's the best for you. For real, before you make that decision. Because you're at the point where you have choices. And you didn't decide on those choices, on which one of the choices you're going to choose yet. See? So you think about, okay, you weigh your options. I can retire in June. My husband wants me to retire in June. I can retire in January. My husband doesn't want.
No. There might be a divorce looming if I do it in January. So I don't know.
Don't speak that out. It's not. You just see that's weighing heavy over there. Okay, so what's the reason you will retire in January? What's the choice over there? I don't get that.
It's mostly financial, you know, but because I started in January, so if I quit, I retired next January, I'll have a complete year in, another complete year. If I do
Oh,
it in June, it's going to be 15 and a half years versus a complete 16 years. And I'll be able to collect my Social Security starting this July and get my paycheck. So
and
I'll be walking away from a
more money.
substantial amount of money
Oh,
compared to if I retire now, I mean in June, versus doubling my income, doubling it if I don't
well,
retire.
I see, because I'm not married. I'm like, well, you don't have a decision. You have any choices. You have one choice.
And
But
then
no,
people say, well, tomorrow you could have a heart attack and die, and then you didn't live your life.
oh, said that's the thing about weighing your options.
Mm-hmm.
Weighing your options. So this is what I would do, because I'm not married, but just say I was married and my husband is pressuring me for whatever reason. I would have to sit down with him and we have to have a discussion about my options. Then you can say, well, what's another? You say 6 months. It's really 6 months of your life, but of school year, it's only 4, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you could say that. You could say, what's another 4? But people are talking about dying and all that stuff. That's not even a factor, because you don't have to make it to June. You know, I
Mm-hmm.
don't have to make it to tomorrow. We have health issues that happen, and that could play a factor, but it doesn't have to, because you're not planning on dying before January, right?
Right.
So you have to sit down with all the stakeholders, and I know you have children too. Sit down with all the stakeholders and weigh the
I'm
options.
going to leave these open because it's hot in here. Thanks. Yeah, because I have parent teacher conferences until 7 o'clock tonight, and it gets really hot in this room. Okay.
So you have to sit down with all the stakeholders. That has to be your family, right? Because there's
Right.
nobody else that it matters to. Your family. And if you have to sit down and do like you know how you do family game night and you're writing on chart paper, you have loads of chart paper in here. Take home with chart paper and weigh your options. What I would do, what should I do? If I do this, this will happen. So write down all the pros and cons of each choice, and then see what you then sit down after that with your husband. I would say everybody else is out of it after that. Sit
Mm-hmm.
down with your husband and make a decision and say, okay, I wrote everything down, I made it plain. That's what the Bible says. I have to plan, because how am I going to retire if I never had a plan out and plan it out? Then you sit down with your husband and say, for real, I say for real. That's how I talk.
Mm-hmm.
For real. This is what we have to do. I have to make a decision right now. I don't want to wait. I want to know, because I don't want to be going back and forth.
Right. It's
See what
torture.
happens and show him the finances. Look, sweetie pie, this is what I have versus this is what I could have, right?
People that retire with a substantial amount of money it's easy for them to walk away.
Yeah.
But when you don't have a nest egg, to walk away is that much harder. It's easy for you to say, go ahead. And he has,
Right.
a big savings account. It's easy for him to walk away. He doesn't have to worry about the repercussions should something happen.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what you have, the pros and the cons. You have to make that plain to the stakeholders. Stakeholders
I
need,
did.
and then you have to put it in writing. I promise you, people look at it in writing, people look at it differently. Like, oh, she's really concerned about that. You know?
Mhm.
That's what I just told you, the Bible says, write it, make it plain, so then whoever reads it can run with it. So he has to look at it for real and say, oh, I get it now. And then you can show him his finance at the same time and say, well, did you have this kind of choice? No, you didn't. So now you can see how serious my decision making is. I'm not a married.
Only looking at it from their perspective, how it will benefit them.
So, but
not looking at it as what would happen should something happen. How is it going to affect me?
You. So that's why you have to make that list. you take home some chart paper, take you some markers, some color, red and black. Put the red over here, I'm in the black over here. This is what happened if I do this. And then seriously, like I know we have our family dynamics are so different. Some people can't talk seriously, have serious conversations with their family. Some people can. Some people do that family meeting stuff all the time. We never do that. We have a family meeting, somebody's seriously ill, then we have to get together. You know, some just regular everyday stuff, we don't do that. So sometimes you have to sit down and say, we got to have this conversation, whether it's hard or easy. Right? So what do you think?
Well, we've had this conversation, but it just is going in one ear and out the other. So he's not looking at it from my perspective at all. And then I want to be here in the fall, regardless if I'm working or not, because I love fall weather in New Jersey, opposed to Florida where your face melts off. You know, that does not make me happy. I do not like being hot. And it's still, right now, it's like 85 degrees still there. And I love my fall leaves and it's so pretty and, you know, all of that. So if I'm going to be here in the fall, why shouldn't I be working? How good would it be to sit here in the fall and not work when I could be earning an income? And that's also my excuse to why I need to stay here in the fall.
Well, so all right. So that's part of that decision making. That's part of those options, weighing those options. This is or this. And then, but the next fall you're gonna be here. You're gonna if here or not, next fall is gonna come around.
That's another thing. Am I gonna keep doing this? Am I gonna be the hamster in this in the wheel and just keep saying next year, next year, next year?
You're not. See, that's what I'm saying. He could say, well, what about next year? You're not gonna be working, you're already gonna be retired. So that's not even going on that list because it can't. That's a retirement after retirement issue. Something. But your decision is when are you gonna retire? After retirement, that's some I don't know about that. That's some new stuff. Because I'm not a family counselor.
Yeah, I know.
I help teachers.
April 1st, I have to let them know by, or October 1st. So those are the two deadlines because you have to let them know 3 months before you retire.
So, all right, so you definitely got to know before, you said April?
April 1st.
So you got to know what you're going to do by March. I had to go back see what my months are. By March. So you need to sit down. You need to sit down for real. Get you some chart paper and weigh your options.
Yeah.
Weigh your options, and you have to do that with family, like family's input. You can't do that without people because they're like, "Oh, you're just making life decisions that we're all involved in." And no, you sit down with your family.
And they don't want me to retire, but it's for selfish reasons. A babysitter, somebody to travel with, somebody to watch. You know, so it's not, they're not looking out for my best interest, they're looking out for theirs.
Okay, but that's not the issue because you're going to retire. Who cares what happens after? Afterward, you're going to retire, whether it's in June or January, right? You're going to retire. Your option right now is when are you going to retire? It's not what you're going to do after you retire. That's the whole other part of that's a different puzzle. You're not even on that puzzle.
I know.
Write down your options.
Trenton is like my little security blanket, you know. I sleep better at night knowing I have my little security blanket. Once I give that blanket up, I might not be sleeping again.
But you're going to give it up next year no matter what.
See, the first thing that was just going to come out of my mouth was, but I don't want to. That was a reflex. You know, without even thinking, that's my reflex, but I don't want to.
But you do want to. You do want to. Because that's what I had the whole, you do want to. You're looking at money, but you can't think because you have to work every day.
I know. You have to
be happy coming to work, right? You have to be happy coming to work. I don't think we got a couple more minutes, like set 6. But you have to be happy coming to work. If you're not happy coming to work, what's the sense of extending it to 4 months? That's not even cool because you can feel it. You know, that's that plan that I gave you. How are you going to make it through those extra 4 months to the end of this year? How are you going to make it happy? Because you want to be happy coming to work. So I will look at that too as one of the options. Will I be happy here if I stay to January? Right?
Yeah, but it's really not that much time. I mean, November and December are like nothing.
Yeah.
It's just
So
the first 2 months that's tough. And you're already rested because you were off the whole summer. So, see, I make excuses.
well, so that doesn't even go on your list.
Mhm.
If I stay, will I be happy? I'm gonna be happy no matter what. So that's not even an issue. That's not even a option. That doesn't go. That goes on both of them. I'll be okay if I stay. I'll be okay at work. If I stay till June, I'll be okay at work. If I stay
Mhm.
till January, right? Now we have some committees putting together a holiday something get together. You got to be involved. That's going to make work better too. So that's not the issue. It's all the other things, finances.
Mhm.
I don't know what else. Whatever.
And I think of my stepfather who bought a brand new camper. He spent all this money on it and he had a stroke and never drove it.
Well, you better start eating right and exercising. You're gonna talk about all that bad stuff that could happen. That could happen tomorrow.
I know.
That means you should have retired 5 years ago. That could happen tomorrow. I know I have issues that I'm working on, but I'm planning on living. Like you're planning on living, so you have control as far as how you eat, how you exercise, how you take care of your body.
Mhm.
But I don't know how much control you. If you're gonna have a heart attack and die or a stroke, that's gonna happen. Whether you think it's gonna happen January 2nd, I don't know about that. You think?
You know my luck, right? You're really saying that to me, right? With the upside down camera, microphones that don't work.
So you have to start speaking differently. Speak that positive. I get it. I've been struggling all day with that. So speak that positive, right?
Yeah.
And so that's what would be my plan for you. You think you
Okay.
could do that? I think that you can do that. Sit down and have a family meeting whenever you're all together. You're together holidays, right?
Well, not all of us now that she's in Florida, but most of
Oh,
us.
well, we on a Zoom call and you right next door. Like
Mm-hmm.
got that angelic glow. That's bothering me. I don't know where that's coming from. Oh, I probably should have shut that window right there. I don't know. But yeah, I probably should have shut that window. But we got Zoom. That's not even an excuse. See, you don't do that. Speak positively. We're gonna get together. We're gonna discuss this thing. I'm gonna have my chart paper. Everybody's gonna put their input, and it can't be something personal to them.
Yeah.
This is my options for me. What's gonna happen with me, right? So, I think you could do that. You need me to facilitate. You already know I talk.
Yes. You could talk the talk.
Yeah, and then you could get it together. Not me, I was just joking, but I couldn't do it. But you have to say seriously, this is what I have to do because I have to make a decision, and I keep going back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going back and forth for no reason, for silly reasons, for me making excuses or thinking about you guys. I got to do what's best for me right now.
Right.
You can speak up for yourself. Nobody else going to.
I know.
You can speak up for yourself.
Yeah, I know. It's just they don't. Luckily enough, they didn't have to. God bless them. They didn't have to struggle their whole life financially like I did. So they kind of really don't know what it's like.
Right. Yeah.
That destitute
Yeah.
at any part of their life. Thank God for that. But I have, so they don't know. They don't understand what that feels like. I don't play.
Yeah, that's true. That's another thing people have to understand. You don't know broke like I know broke. So
Mm-hmm.
I know you can't understand having to eat tea. Like you had to eat some tea for dinner. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and people don't understand that.
No.
People don't understand you have to go to your mom's house to get a jelly and peanut butter sandwich. or go over there visit your mom so you can have dinner. People don't get that. So
Right.
yeah, I understand that.
Or selling everything you own,
Mhm.
or not having money to wash your clothes. They have no clue.
Yeah, so that's a different but still, it doesn't even matter. You know why? Because you're going to put your options and what concerns you, why you're going to choose it. So we're going to have to go before it logs off. Again, this is Educators with Oil. I'm Ronnette Brandon. We have a special guest, Laura Monty. We're going to come back and decide. After she decides to make that decision, I'll see you people back in
Stay
April.
tuned.
April with Laura Monty, because she would have had to make a decision by then, right?
Yes.
Yes. So thank you. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you, Laura, for coming
You're
and
very
joining
welcome.
me. I appreciate it. I think we made some headway. I
I
think we
think so.
did. Okay, take care and have a good day.
Thank you.